Hi and welcome back to the channel, and today is a very exciting day for me because I am going to start planting my garden. And I have been waiting for this for a whole year, right? Even more than that, because last season I was pregnant and did not feel very good and was not able to put full 100% into my garden last year. So I'm excited to go full force into planting this year. A couple of days ago, my husband surprised me when I was at the grocery store. I came home and he was weeding my garden for me, and he got rid of all of the huge weeds for me, so that was something I didn't have to do. And the last 2 days I have just banged out putting these black plastic on each one of the rows. I worked really hard the last 2 days getting it all done, so then I could just get to the fun part, which is planting, and not have to worry about all the other stuff. So I'm sorry I didn't video that for you, but I'm a mom of 4 and one of them is 5 months old, and I just had to get it done, and I did get it done. But I'm going to go over the process with you of everything that I did. So I did not till any of this garden this year. Everything I'm trying to do as best I can do no-till. So everything was kind of already in rows from last year. So I amended my rows with chicken manure, and which actually was just me going over to my chicken coop and raking up and shoveling the old pine shavings they had in their coop from winter into a wheelbarrow. I do the deep litter method during the winter time, and that means that I just keep piling on the pine shavings during the whole winter, and that pretty much gave me a good coverage for all of my rows. It didn't make a huge layer, but I mixed it all in, hilled all of it up so it wasn't quite as flat, and then rolled out the plastic on the top. I'm doing something. I have actually already decided for next year that I am not going to take this plastic up. I'm going to leave it on during the winter time. I did that with one row last year, and it was just a huge success. The soil looks really great, and all I had to do was pull it back, amend it, and plant. And so I'm going to keep these for at least 2 seasons, maybe 3. We'll see how it goes. So I worked really hard for the future. So I'm going to be jumping around today to get all of these things planted in kind of more of a priority type setting, not going from left to right or right to left. I have some cabbage I want to get in the ground first because I really should have gotten that in a month ago and I just didn't. There's seeds that need to go ahead and be planted, like my green beans and my zinnias need to go ahead and get in the ground so they can start germinating. So I expect this to take me the next couple of days, but I'm going to take you along with me, show you when I'm planting, show you how it's going. I really wish that I could have gotten this done last week, but it's actually good that I didn't start on it because last week we did have a frost, and so it would have been quite the thing to have to come out here and cover everything up. This is also the perfect day for planting. It's mid-60s here. It's going to be partly cloudy, which is beautiful to be able to get things in the ground because they don't get so stressed. And it's supposed to rain for the next couple of days, so it's going to make sure that their roots are well established with all of that water. So I'm going to start with cabbage. Then I think I'm going to move on to my sunflowers because I have sunflowers that have been in egg cartons for 3 weeks and they just need to get out. And then I think I'm going to work on the seeds, so the green beans and my zinnias, get those into the ground. I brought down some zucchini, yellow squash, and cucumbers to put into these garden beds back here. And maybe a little bit of high hopes that I'm going to get that done today. I don't know if I'll get it done, but we'll see. This is the first time that I have used this season. I have used it in my cold hardy row, and so I know it works great. I'm going to torch this plastic instead of cutting holes in it. It should go much, much faster. The ground still has dew on it, so there's no danger of this. If you're in a drought, don't do this. It's probably not that smart. But for me, it should work really great. So let's go ahead and get started on getting all these things planted in the ground.
Excuse me. Mom, excuse me.
Yes, what do you need?
I listen I just got.
Oh, that's okay. Yep.
I'm okay.
You're okay.
And excuse me.
Yes, you're excused. So let's get this project started. I'm going to start in this row right behind me first. Show you what I'm doing with my sunflowers. I've put them into egg cartons because you can plant an egg carton right into the soil because it will decompose. If you notice, the roots are starting to come out the bottom. So I am just breaking apart. I've watered it so many times that it's starting to get goopy. And so I just break apart a cell like this. And then as long as the roots aren't necessarily on the side, I'm kind of pulling apart the sides too, and ripping those off so that it's just the bottom wherever the roots are. There we go. And then I'm planting this directly into the ground. Sunflowers don't love to have their roots disturbed. I've never done this way before, but there's a lot of people who do it this way. The egg carton thing I came up with myself. I haven't seen anybody else do that because I have probably 200 egg cartons downstairs. People just bring me egg cartons all the time. Now I am going to push this down pretty far, like down to here. I'm gonna plant this so that it could be sticking straight up. A few of these are a little wonky just because like they've been in these trays too long. They're gonna be okay. They're gonna be fine. They wanna, I say this over and over again on this channel, plants want to live. They want to survive. And so, why don't you see my face for a minute? And so they're gonna figure out their way to survive. Plus, these are going in bouquets. So if the very bottom of the stems are wonky, it doesn't really matter because I'm cutting the top off for the bouquets anyways. So we will see how the summer goes, if this is going to be a good way to do this, but I think it probably is. You may ask what the point of starting the sunflower seeds before planting them in the ground is. So for me, it's two things. Actually more than that, I guess. I have a hard time with germination this time of year for sunflowers in the ground. And I really think it's because it just does still get so chilly at night. I mean, we still have 40, 45 degree temperatures in the evenings into the middle of the night, which they're fine with, but that's not very good for germination. And so I think things kind of end up not happening and not germinating well. And then you really don't know that for at least 10 to 14 days because it could take them that long. So then you're like, oh, now I gotta replant and you gotta try again. Kind of lose seeds in the ground from watering. So when I have them started before, I just know that they're there and I know that I'm getting them planted into the ground. They germinate a lot quicker because I'm putting these underneath my grow lights still downstairs and under a heat mat. And so they're germinating a lot faster than they would be if I was just putting them into the soil and letting them germinate. So I can kind of crank them out a little bit quicker. And I can just keep track of the succession a little bit better, because that's what I'm going for. I'm not going for a whole row of sunflowers that's all going to bloom at the same time. I'm going for a succession that I'm really crossing my fingers that these will be ready by the beginning of, well, actually the end of July. We'll see. Maybe not. Maybe they will. But that's kind of my reasoning for it. Sorry, I got distracted. And I can get these started before my last frost date. You know, I wouldn't be able to start, if I were starting outside, I wouldn't be able to start sunflower seeds until right now. And these have 2 to 3 weeks worth of growth on them. So that's a good little incentive as well to get these started early. I have watered everything I've done. I've got 5 minutes until I need to go get the baby up. So let me show you what I've done so far. So here's cabbage. I had a little bit of mishap with this, like shock, right? But I had 3 things of cabbage and 1 6-pack of cauliflower. And the cauliflower tag and 1 cabbage tag fell out. So there are 3 plants in here that are actually cauliflower. So I just went ahead and put a couple extra holes and did the cauliflower, like what's it gonna hurt? Down here is going to be tomatoes. I am waiting for however many tomatoes are gonna sell at the farm stand to sell first before I put tomatoes in here. So I think I'm gonna have more tomatoes than I thought I was going to. I'd originally planned on doing green beans and onions in here. My onions died, so now I have more room for tomatoes. So this is gonna be green beans and tomatoes. I have a couple of rows of flowers that I haven't started doing yet, but let me show you over here. Here's the sunflowers. They are not dead, they are just watered. And so I got all those in, and we will be making in succession that way with them. And then I put holes halfway up this row and then this entire row, and these are going to be zinnias. I went ahead and watered the holes, to put the seeds in, because sometimes if you water after, it will actually make the seed float away and won't be next to the hole anymore. The torch is amazing. It is taking half the time that it took last year for me to cut holes into this. So that's fantastic news. So next project is to come out and get these zinnia seeds started in the ground. And then I am also going to finish planting up my boxes back here with some squash and zucchini. And that may be all I get to for today. We will see. But I'm pretty happy with the progress so far. So the zinnias are next, and the soil is moistened. I'm gonna put 2 zinnias per cell. Now if you notice the video I just showed you, the sunflowers are 4 across the holes, and then the zinnias are 3 across. I did 3 across last year. I think in theory you could probably do them closer together, but I liked the way it was last year. It was really big and bushy. Those binary giants got as big as they could, having a little bit of separation, and especially because I'm doing 2 seeds per cell or per hole, they're gonna need the space if they both end up germinating. So 3 across is totally enough for these zinnias. So I'm doing a row and a half of those, which I think is about 40 feet of zinnias. And so let me just tell you what I've got that I'm going to be planting. The Benary's giant, I've got 2 of those. Aurora, linen, ballerina. I've got a couple more I gotta go find. Be right back. Found them. They were in my seed catalog. I would have been sad if I hadn't got those done. So I have a little bit more of the ballerina, so we'll have lots of ballerina. I don't know if I'll do all of them, but we'll see. And then I also have the Queenie formula mix. It doesn't feel like I have a lot of those. I wish I had more, but we'll stick with what I got for now. The Oklahoma and State Fair, which is just, this is mixed colors. different kind of textures and stuff, and so I just do it anyways. You don't really need to with all these other things, but I'm just gonna do it just to have extra anyways. So, all right, so let's get these into the ground. I'm gonna kind of push them in and cover them with soil. That's what they want. They don't want to be on the top of the surface or anything. I am pretty good with figuring out my time because I got exactly everything done that I wanted to and none else. So this was day 1 of getting this garden planted. I am going to pick up the kids from school soon. Then they have softball, baseball, all the things tonight. So no more planting today, most likely. But I will turn the camera on tomorrow morning, hopefully, when I can get some more planting done. There is supposed to be rain coming. Seems a little spotty throughout the day tomorrow. So we'll see what we can do tomorrow. Check in with you then. We are on day 2 of getting this garden planted. And now I'm going to work on getting green beans into the ground. I am actually going to do these in succession. I think I have 6 packs of green beans to put in the ground. So that's 150 plants, I believe, somewhere around there. But I'm gonna do it in 3 sections. So I have a little bit of a succession. So I'll do 2 packs this week. Next week I'll do another 2, and then I'll do another 2 after that. I've never done it before like that, but I do know that kind of in the middle of the season, they start to dwindle a little bit. And so I'm hoping that doing a succession will help me have some throughout the entire season. I don't think they love super hot weather. So in August, they kind of act like they're going to die. And then when everything starts to get a little cooler at night, they pop back up again and start producing again. But anyways, so I'm going to do that. We have a very busy weekend this weekend, and then we are going away for a couple of days. And leaving the house to a house sitter. So I'm not going to ask anybody to plant my garden for me. So some of these are going to have to wait until the beginning of June, which honestly is fine. Pumpkins need to wait till June anyways around here because the soil needs to be really warm for them to take well. It wouldn't hurt for me to put my tomatoes in, but I'm not necessarily going to push for it because they're okay where they are as well. They'll be okay for a few more days. And it is rather chilly for the beginning of June. This next week or so, we have really just highs, low 60 temperatures and like mid 40 night temperatures. So we're not booming into the summer season in the slightest, which I'm actually secretly happy about because I have not been very quick for the season either. So it's given me a little bit of reprieve to feel like, okay, I'm not too far behind. If the weather's behind, I'm not too far behind. But my goal is to at least get the green beans done, start possibly planting some flowers, and then maybe start creating a plan for getting my peppers and tomatoes in the ground, even if I don't do them today. At least just think through how I want to get that done. So let's get started on green beans.